Courtney, do you have Leah going first? You're muted.
Yes, I do.
Well, perfect. Do you want me to go ahead and kick it off? I'm live streaming on YouTube right now.
Yes.
All right, well, here we go. Good morning and welcome to the DCBDD Technology First Conference. My name is Chase Waits, and I'm the Director of Communications and Community Engagement with the board. We are thrilled to have you joining us for this exciting event where we'll explore the incredible ways that technology can enhance the lives of individuals with developmental disabilities. DCBDD has a commitment to promoting accessibility, inclusivity, and empowerment through the use of innovative technology solutions. Our goal is to equip people with the knowledge, tools, and resources to leverage technology in creating more independent and fulfilling lives for those that we serve. Throughout this conference today, you will have the opportunity to hear from some technology experts and discover some cutting-edge assistive technologies that are transforming the landscape of support and care. On behalf of the Delaware County Board of Developmental Disabilities, I want to express our sincere gratitude for your participation and dedication to improving the lives of individuals with developmental disabilities. We are confident that together we can harness the power of technology to build a more inclusive and supportive future for all. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you have a rewarding and inspiring experience at the Technology First Conference. Courtney?
Hi, my name is Courtney Hines. I am the outreach advocate and the chair of the Technology First Conference. I will be introducing Leah to our first presenter. Leah Benjamin is a speech language pathologist who has a passion for adaptive communication and ADAC. She um, presented for 4 to 5 years with the pediatric population and worked at Nationwide Children's Hospital until March when she transitioned into her role as South Communications with Toby Dynavox. She is excited to share Toby Dynavox's solutions with you. Take it away, Leah.
Thank you, Courtney, and thank you, Chase, so much. I'm excited to be here. I have a PowerPoint to present to you and a few links, but what I'm going to do is turn my video off, so I'm not worried about, faces I'm making on here. And so I won't be able to see anybody's face, but if you need to stop me or you have questions, please let me know. And just to be clear, Courtney, I have about 35 minutes and then we'll do questions.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, guys. Courtney, can you see, or Chase, can you confirm that you can see this okay?
Yes, we are good to go.
Okay, thanks. Here we go. So my name is Leah Benjamin. Again, Courtney introduced me. I am your local Toby Dynavox Solutions Consultant. This is just my first slide, but our motto is providing the power to be you. Here's just a little bit about me. As Courtney said, I'm a speech pathologist. I grew up in Central Ohio. I went to Ohio State for undergrad. I got my master's at Cincinnati and worked outpatient at the Dublin location of Nationwide Children's Hospital until earlier this year. This is just my contact information as well as our tech supports information. We'll get into that in a little bit, but if you need anything, I'm your girl, so feel free to reach out. Just a little bit about us. Toby Dynavox provides augmentative and alternative communication solutions, as well as assistive technology to enable people to use a computer and engage with their environment. We support all ability levels from the most emergent users, like individuals who have never used symbols, have early communication skills, or are totally new to technology, all the way through those who are independent at navigating technology, fully literate, but maybe unable to speak as their primary form of communication. Our solutions accommodate many skills and needs, including solutions for people with vision or hearing differences, people who need access to highly efficient communication tools, and people with specific motoric needs. Here at Tobii Dynavox, we love to help people do what they once did or what they never thought possible. Our mission to make groundbreaking assistive technology and communication solutions to give people with disabilities a voice. So why Tobii Dynavox? We are a one-stop shop for world-class technology, mounting, and accessories. We have the largest network of solutions consultants, which is my role. We have tech support through the life of your device. We also have a wealth of additional resources, including complementary software for professionals. That includes speech pathologists, OTs, PTs, teachers, support staff in the classroom, things like that. We have device loan and rental programs. We have a dedicated funding team and an ever-growing offering of live and on-demand learning resources. So assistive technology, we are the world's leading supplier of assistive technology for communication and education. Again, from giving a child who can't speak a voice to ask for maybe their favorite toy or helping somebody write a novel with their eyes, we cater to a wide range of conditions and needs with state-of-the-art assistive technology. A little bit about our history. The roots of Tobii Dynavox lie in two assistive technology industry pioneers, our Sweden-based Tobii technology and our US-based Dynavox. In 2014, the companies merged to give a voice to people with disabilities worldwide. Our mounting solutions also come from our Canadian counterparts, and we are leaders in direct access, switch access, and eye gaze access. So who do we support? Anyone who needs AAC and assistive technology. Can an individual be too impaired to use AAC or augmentative communication? No way. And then if you are on your phone, that QR code is nice and easy to scan. I think there might be a few other embedded QR codes in here. If you guys want to pull them up, we have a variety of, we call them AAC myths, and then our truths behind them. I just pulled a couple of my favorites on this next slide to share. So the first one, a myth, you should only use AAC when speech becomes too hard to understand. The truth here, and these are all backed by research, introducing AAC devices is beneficial even at early stages of ALS or other degenerative progressive diseases. It gives patients with ALS time to practice and fine-tune the system before full-time use becomes necessary. The next one, AAC is complicated and difficult to use. Tobii Dynavox AAC devices are created with user-friendly interfaces that can be customized based on each person's comfort level with technology. Next, AAC hinders personal connection. AAC devices can actually enhance communication and help maintain social connections. Recent research shows that AAC improves quality of life in many areas, both for people with ALS and their caregivers. Again, this is talking specifically about patients with ALS, but this is also for those with developmental disabilities. Another myth, it's too late to try AAC. It's never too late or too early to explore AAC options. Access methods such as eye tracking and switches can help depending on your client or family member's body abilities. Here at Tobii Dynavox, we believe access to communication is a basic human right. A positive communication environment is important for everyone, but it has specific importance and needed emphasis for those using AAC. If an AAC user does not experience communication success with their AAC supports, then they are at risk to abandon those supports and be without a way to communicate. Whoops, I skipped ahead, but I think that's okay. Yeah. So in our Bill of Rights, we just have a few things. So this is a little boy with an AAC device, and he says, I have the right to own friendships and social connections, express what and who I want and where I wish to go, say no, protest, refuse, express emotions, thoughts, make choices, share opinions, perspectives, seek, receive, and share information. To be informed about people in my life and events that affect me, access communication tools and strategies, always have access to working AAC and assistive technology, to be acknowledged and responded to actively participate in the community. This one's huge. To be treated with dignity and respect, to be directly talked to rather than spoken about, and to be communicated with in a way that I understand. It is our responsibility as communication partners to ensure we are creating an environment to support AAC users and to engage in these communication rights every day. Next, this is just a quick link to some of our success stories with AAC and assistive technology. I probably won't play this whole video, and Courtney and Chase, if the sound doesn't work, please let me know.
Chaotic. Quickly get out the door.
Can you guys hear that?
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
Or rushing into the office. We start our session.
Oops, sorry.
When my day starts a little chaotic, quickly get out the door, rushing into the office. We start our sessions really early so we can see as many kiddos as possible. Kids are in the lobby. It's loud, bright, and early, but we love it. As speech therapists, we really want to spend most of our day in direct therapy and working with kids. Pretty shortly after I opened the clinic, the first thing I thought was, wow, this community really needs AAC. Let me tell you how I feel. I went to Toby Dynavox's website and was immediately greeted by the most amazing consultant. I like to tell speech therapists that my job is to really help speech therapists get communication device in the hands of their clients in an easier way. We provide this kind of wraparound support. We can support you from that first device consultation. We're going to build you up to feel more comfortable answering questions in the future with your families. To have someone who understands the device, the system, the product has been really helpful and saved me so much time helping kids get their voice much sooner.
When I got Christopher's autism diagnosis, it was definitely really overwhelming. Christopher wasn't really trying to communicate. He would just have a meltdown. And he would get so frustrated that he didn't know how to express what it was that he needed. Amanda told us about Toby Dynavox and how he could essentially just touch a button and say whatever it is that he needed to say.
Let's do that again.
That was one of the best things that we could ever hear.
We started Christopher on a high-tech AAC device from Toby Dynavox. He quickly took off. He was exploring every button, listening to the words, and would quickly move on to the next one. And when he got to the button that said, I love this, he said it over and over. And then he went to the button next to it and it said, I can do this. I can do this. We were crying happy tears. It was so exciting to see his face light up when he was able to say, I love this. I love just communicating. After you've done that.
Okay. I think that's a good stopping point. Let me just quickly pull my slides back up. We're good. Everybody can see that.
Yes.
Yep.
That's just a video I like to share. Chris is super cute and he's using one of our touch devices, but the goal in showing that is that no matter where you're at in your journey for obtaining a solution for a client, a family member, things like that, we're here to provide support that you need. Exploring the possibilities here at Toby Dynavox. Access methods are the key to using the device and the software. Software is the program's content that runs on the device, and then the physical device brings together access method and software. Again, another one of those embedded QR codes if you're interested. So let's start with access methods, because first we need to talk about how your client, family member, whoever will access the device and software. To help access methods are a way to help individuals with complex physical challenges communicate and manage their daily life effectively. We need to provide them with different levels of access to their communication tools and devices. 5 main types of alternative access include touch, mouse alternatives, head-controlled mouse, scanning, and eye tracking. The big one, touch, is a lot of what we see our pediatric population doing, and that's how we, touch our phones or touch an iPad. The other one I'm going to focus on right now is eye tracking. So eye tracking allows the user to control their communication software and computer using their eyes. Selections can be made entirely with their eyes by letting their gaze dwell on an object for a set amount of time. Eye tracking can also be used in conjunction with a switch to make the selection if the person is able to push a button or switch. I just like this graphic because it shows how someone can use only their eyes to make selections. The eye tracker at the base of the computer sends out infrared light, which is reflected in your eyes, basically the space around your pupils. Those reflections are picked up by the eye tracker's cameras, and the eye tracker determines where you're looking through filtering and calculations. As simple as the concept may be, an enormous amount of research and development has gone into Tobii Dynavox eye tracking to make them work in a fast and efficient, user-friendly manner. Our technology is so advanced that we can track people's eyes in all conditions with uncontrolled head movements, various positions, bright outdoor sunlight, through glasses, and with just a single eye if needed. We are so excited to be able to provide a way for people with physical limitations to interact with their world. Eye tracking serves a variety of diagnoses and conditions such as cerebral palsy, Rett syndrome, traumatic brain injury, spinal cord injuries, as well as progressive diseases like ALS and Parkinson's. This slide has a lot of words, but I'm just going to run through it briefly. Our industry-leading eye tracking is what we're known for. So the Tobii Dynavox advantage is that we have a strong relationship with our sister company, Tobii, based in Sweden, who makes our eye trackers. We then further enrich the technology by testing and collecting data from the populations we serve. This data is embedded into our hardware and software, which then optimizes eye tracking technology to work with customers in their specific needs. We have over 12 years of algorithm and testing improvements, and we're continuously growing our eye tracking image database. We have a larger track box than commercial eye trackers, which supports a larger area where the eye tracker can still pick up someone's eyes. With high tolerance of user head movement, we capture more users with spasticity or movement in general. Bright and dark pupil tracking ensures that our eye trackers pick up the user's eyes in a wide range of lighting conditions. Faster recovery time means if a client gets distracted and looks away, closes their eyes, or has, an uncontrolled movement, when they look back to the screen, the device is ready to be used immediately. If you have tried other eye trackers, you may have found a noticeable difference with our eye tracking. Lastly, we've made improvements in outdoor tracking. Doesn't just mean for outdoors, it means in bright light anywhere, including indoors or outdoors, giving our users more flexibility and freedom to communicate where they want and when they want. All of this knowledge, development, investment, and optimization is especially critical for the populations that we serve here at TD. Our users do not fit the ideal scenarios for eye tracking, such as sitting still, no eyewear, things like that. Our users are unique and our eye tracking is robust to support that. Now that you have an idea of what access methods might be appropriate for your loved one, client, whomever, let's talk a little bit more about the content and software. We provide software for people who need symbol-based communication support, including people with autism, CP, or aphasia, text-based communication support, including people who are literate but cannot use speech as their primary method of communication, a way to access their computer in programs, whether for work or leisure, and more practice or assessment with eye tracking. First, TD Snap is one of our main softwares to communicate. What is it? TD Snap is a flexible software offering professionals and families a choice of AAC solutions. It comes with a set of powerful tools and resources to empower people with speech and language disabilities to communicate. What's great about TD Snap, it's built for communication. It's easy to edit and customize to specific needs of the user. It has a sync and share feature to collaborate with a team of supporters, whether that's private therapy, school teams, family. TD Snap has an integrated Google Assistant, which is really cool. If you're connected to Wi-Fi and logged into a Google account, there are buttons in there that you can select that say, hey, Google, what's the weather? And then the device will speak what the weather is today and other things like that. There are many available communication tools, including single words, whole phrases, whiteboards, photo albums, and BoardMaker Player that has an interactive library embedded in it. TD Snap is available on Windows 10 or iOS, and it is free for professional use, which I'll share a little bit later. We have a variety of pre-installed page sets in TD Snap. While it's completely customizable, these are really nice for getting started. Our language content, our page sets include Core First, Motor Plan, Aphasia, Express, Gateway, and Pod. This allows you to choose the language content that best supports the needs of your communicator, because we know a one-size-fits-all approach to AAC does not work for the unique needs of our customers. Next, Communicator 5 is a software that empowers people with speech and language disabilities to communicate efficiently. This communication solution also offers control of computers, phones, the internet, the home environment, and access to a suite of social media apps and entertainment apps. So in Communicator 5, we house what we call our join-in apps. So there's, accessible YouTube, accessible Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff, depending on what your user is interested in. TD Talk is a fast and personal text-based communication system. It's essentially just a keyboard. That's a speech generating app for literate adults primarily is who I see using this. Diagnoses such as MS, CP, and others. It empowers people to talk using just their fingers or eyes. There is a large variety of languages and voices to express yourself as naturally as possible here. You can also launch TD Talk from Communicator 5, that previous software we were just looking at. TD Browse has been built for people who are new to eye tracking and designed to enable them to gain success with eye gaze quickly. It is a purpose-built web browser designed specifically for eye gaze users. TD Browse's design prioritizes the content of the website so that the person feels immersed in their browsing experience. It is built for people to use an intuitive way on an eye gaze device, our Windows-based devices, our TD i13 or TD i16, which I'll specify a little later. It's just a simple way to enjoy the web so they can scroll and click in an intuitive way and switch between those two functions easily. With TD Control, we want to create independence, empowering our users to be in full control of a PC and all of its functions. TD Control is designed for, it was designed for literate adults, but I see a variety of users gaining independence using TD Control. It is for a Windows-based device, and it combines a simple way of doing basic tasks like sending emails, editing documents with more advanced combinations such as photo or video editing, gaming, things like that. The easiest way to explain it is to think about everything someone could do with a mouse or a keyboard, they can do with their eyes using TD Control. TD Phone is a way to call and text with your eyes. Again, purpose-built for having conversations through texting and calling with eye tracking. This is available on our Windows-based iSeries. And after the initial setup, the user will have everything they need for calling and sending text messages through either an iPhone or an Android phone. Now that we've talked about access method and software, I want to narrow down on our hardware options that may be appropriate for your loved one or client. Thinking about hardware options, dedicated devices are eligible for funding through insurance. They are medically supported justification. Non-dedicated devices are solutions that can be purchased out of pocket who might not either meet insurance justification for a dedicated medical device or maybe are able to use other funding sources outside of insurance. This slide just discusses the benefits of a dedicated device, so going through that funding process through insurance. Dedicated devices are more durable for communication needs, no matter the environment. They are built with louder speakers to be heard anytime. They have a longer battery for all-day communication. They are designed purposefully for transportation and mounting. Our dedicated devices have improved warranties, training, and support options for setup, and they also have companion licenses for caregiver modeling and availability. This slide has our dedicated options on it. On the top left is our Windows-based iSeries, the i13 and the i16. These are eye gaze devices that can also be used with switches, and they are used, all of our software is available on here: TD Snap, Communicator 5, TD Browse, TD Control, and TD Phone. Then on the top right, we have our TD Pilot. This is a iOS or Apple-based eye gaze device. Also has those switch ports. On this device, TD Snap and TD Talk are available. Down in the bottom right is our i110. It is a Windows-based touch device that also has switch ports if necessary, and it has Communicator 5, TD Snap. And then in the bottom right corner with the 3 devices is our new TD Navio line. It's an iOS-based system with that is integrated into a case and has integrated speakers. It comes in 3 sizes: the mini, the MIDI, and the maxi. And TD Snap and TD Talk are available on this system. TD Care, we're happy to now offer a 5-year warranty called TD Care on our dedicated AAC devices, which includes accidental damage, defects in material, unlimited technical support via phone, text, and email, unlimited learning support on our Learning Hub and live events calendar, and then expert support from your solutions consultants. As of September 1st, TD Care applies to the TD Navio, the TD i110, the TD Pilot, and the TD iSeries that I just showed. So I just want to go over the process of funding a device very quickly. We offer support at every step. So before getting a device, we encourage you to start learning about AAC topics so you can be prepared to implement a device with those you support. Our live learning calendar is best to ask questions with a team member of our learning team. The Learning Hub is nice for on-demand learning opportunities to explore courses, video clips, documents. You can earn CEUs if you're a professional. While getting a device, using the funding website, our e-funding portal. Funding Coach is a guided funding experience with our own funding consultants. And then after getting a device, solutions consultants can offer support for funded devices to get set up and going. There are setup guides and videos on our Learning Hub. There are a variety of learning opportunities on the hub, as well as that live learning calendar for editing the software, implementation ideas, and a variety of other things to help implementation and use. Tech support is available 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And then just general collaboration to find the right support and accessories as your users' needs change and grow. When you need to explore initial options for someone you support, assess someone for a communication device, set up your client or student or loved one on a new device, find additional supports if your communicator's needs change, or learn more about customizing the software and implementing AAC, we are here to help. Tobii Dynavox prides itself on our ecosystem of support. So no matter where you're at in this journey, we are here to help. Talking a little bit more about funding, our team of experts guide you through the funding process. In the US, most of our devices can be covered by Medicare, Medicaid, or private insurance. I do need to add, we can never guarantee that, but our funding team does know a lot of the intricacies of these providers, so they can help with the process for a speech generating device, because we know it can be complicated, so they're here to help us with questions. And we are contracted with over 300 insurances with over 700 plans in the country. So the process of funding a device, first you would consult with a speech pathologist. In the US, the need for a device has to be assessed and recommended by an SLP. You'll also need to meet with your physician so they can document the need for a device in their notes from a recent visit with you. I often tell people within 4 months, because the whole process can take some time, and insurance likes to see that visit within 6 months when they are processing that paperwork. We'll help you navigate and collect the needed paperwork to submit to your insurance provider. Insurance will review and will approve or deny the claim. If they deny, we have a whole appeals team that helps us. And if you don't have insurance, there are alternative ways to get a device funded. It doesn't mean it's the end of your device dreams. There's just other routes we'll take in that scenario. The last step is the best one. You receive your device and get the communication support you need. And as your local solutions consultant, I can help and elaborate as needed on any of these steps. E-funding is a HIPAA compliant online portal where you can document your client information, your speech eval, insurance, things like that, that then gets pushed directly over to our funding team once it's completed and submitted, so that they can review it before submitting to insurance. We have a variety of funding resources to help set you up for success during the report writing process. This is more for professionals that are involved, our SLPs. We have many templates that can be used in conjunction with the e-funding portal, and we have tips and tricks to help consider before starting the report writing process. As an SLP, I know that that process can be daunting, but we're here to help you. So e-funding is a dedicated site. It lets you store and file your funding packet documentation online in one place. It enables the SLP to coordinate and collaborate more seamlessly with the family, as well as our team here at Tobii Dynavox, whether that be me, the solutions consultant, or our funding consultant. Just helps everyone stay organized and efficient. The funding process can be complicated, so we've simplified it to the best of our ability with the dedicated e-funding site, making it accessible to everyone involved in the process. E-funding helps ensure that payer guidelines are being met and encourages funding approvals the first time. Can't say we always get it through the first time. We do, get denials and go through the appeals process, but this process does help alleviate some of that. Funding is daunting. The site isn't perfect for every funding source, but it's a great way to do paperwork repetitively. The Funding Coach, again, this is a program designed for SLPs seeking AAC funding through the report writing process. Our ideal candidates are SLPs who are new to AAC evaluations, SLPs supporting a family with an unfamiliar diagnosis, or SLPs working with a new insurance provider. While I'm focusing on professionals, I just want to touch on an assessment resource that we have. It's called the Dynamic AAC Goals Grid, or the DAG-3. This is a tool to help SLPs collaborate with the entire support team, including educators, family members, et cetera, to design an intervention plan for somebody using AAC. The DAG identifies an individual's current communication abilities, and then that information guides the professionals in choosing appropriate goals and gives them a way to track progress. It includes all ability levels from early learners to more advanced communicators. Activities for each goal are included, as well as a clear path for advancing those skills. And that can be found on our website or on our Learning Hub. Again, more about learning. We have our on-demand learning hub. You can learn at your own pace for free, anytime, anywhere. There are online training resources, recorded webinars, videos, quick guides, and more. It is designed by subject matter experts. Our resources are available to anyone interested in getting more information about the products or just learning more about AAC in general. Our live learning calendar, we touched on a little bit before, but it's really nice because it is led by specialists from our learning team, and they're available in real time to answer questions. I find that families, when they're first getting a device, really like the live learning calendar, not only to talk to our learning team, but also interact with other families or AAC users in an online forum. Technical support is ready to help with how-to calls, troubleshooting, device setups, and repairs. We have 24 members on our tech support team when we're fully staffed. The hours for tech support, again, are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern. You can contact information via the phone. I can provide that number again for you guys, via email, or through the chat function on our website. It's in the bottom right corner of the screen when you click on our website. Last, this is just a touch on that free professional access. If you're an SLP, a teacher, work in healthcare, and would like to access TD Snap, you can create an account at My Toby Dynavox, and then it offers exclusive resources for therapists to use these with your clients and patients. Last, I just want to talk about our partnership promise. We are a trusted partner you can count on for groundbreaking solutions that meet you and your clients or family members' ever-changing needs. We provide expert support with funding, queries, and trainings for successful communication journeys across the lifespan. All right, that is all I have. Sorry if I was rushing at the end. I wanted to make sure I left time for questions.
Thanks, Leah. You hit all you hit all the funding questions that I was gonna ask, so that's very helpful. Mandy, do you have any questions? I don't know if she can hear me. Let's see. Let's see.
Hi. The only question I had is, and you may have touched on it and I may have just missed it because I got in a little late, but are you able to tailor the pictures and voices to, okay. So each person can have their own pictures and voice sounds.
Yes, so we have a variety of symbols in our library that are on the device. Another really cool feature of the software is that when it's connected to Wi-Fi, you can toggle over to the web and pull in pictures from Google. You can use a USB to put personal pictures or email them to yourself to put pictures of family. You can also take pictures on all of the devices. We have a variety of voices available. Some of them vary on our Windows devices versus our Apple devices. And I didn't talk about this at all today because I was focusing more on developmental disabilities, but we do also support voice banking, which is a process that I see some patients with ALS do early on with a diagnosis. It's a process where they record their voice. It's, 100 to 150 phrases, and then that company can digitize and synthesize their voice, and we can pull it into the device, and they can then use a synthetic version of their own speaking voice once they are unable to use their own voice in the manner that we normally think of day to day.
Leah, I know we talked about this quite a bit, but you said that most of the Toby boxes that communicate with you usually go through funding pretty easily, but the ones that don't need communication are kind of harder to get through funding. Is that correct?
So the one that you're thinking of, Courtney, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, is our PCI.
Yes.
So the PCI is a really cool piece of hardware. It is essentially using a computer with your eyes, and it is a tool that you can it's unfortunately not able to be funded by insurance. It is a compact eye tracker. So the way that our eye tracking devices have that eye tracker installed into the bottom of the device, this piece is the eye tracker that you can then plug into a computer, and it can enhance a Windows tablet or a Windows device for indoor or outdoor use. It comes with that TD control software. So again, anything you can do with a keyboard or a mouse, you can do with your eyes. But unfortunately, at this time, it is not able to be funded through insurance.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Let's see. Like I said, you hit pretty much every question I had.
I tried. You gave me a good baseline when we met previously to go off of. And I am not familiar with presenting in a manner like this. I know it's recording and it says it's like being broadcast to YouTube. If people are watching, can they ask questions?
That is a good question, Chase. I don't know.
They can. So I've been monitoring YouTube as well. So there are no questions there at this time. What we have found is often people will view later as well at their convenience, and then we'll send questions your way after viewing it at their time.
Perfect. And all my contact information is there right at the beginning. So I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, Leah. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is great. I appreciate being invited and included and just being able to share more with you about Tobii Dynavox and what we do.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Courtney, looks like we have George tuned in with us, and I'll turn it over to you
Yes.
to do his introduction.
Hang on 1 second, George. Sorry. Okay. Uh, can you hear? I'm just gonna swing it, George, because technology is not cooperating with me. Your biography is not loading. Um, this is George. He is um a technology expert, and he is going to be showing us a mobile technology unit. So take it away, George.
All right. Hey, thank you very much, Courtney and Chase, for the invite. I appreciate the opportunity to come and chat about this little project that I've worked on for the past, I guess, 5 years now. Um, so it's a mobile smart home. And what I want to do actually, here, I'll share my screen with everyone. Um, so this is a mobile smart home that's actually owned technically by the Southern Ohio Council of Governments. And before we actually get to some of the hardcore stuff on that, um, I'll give you a little intro and brief background on me, a little bit about my work history that sort of brought me to the place in my career where I got the opportunity to work on this project. Um, we'll cover supportive technology pretty quickly. Many of you may be familiar with this already, but I always think that it's a really good idea to just kind of run through the basics of what supportive technology is and what it means, especially because we're promoting that with our mobile smart home. And then we'll talk all about the mobile smart home itself. So just by way of intro to me, I am the IT director at the Ross County Board of DD. And so I kind of do technology every day for my career. And I'll give you a little perspective on that. Um, Maybe 20 years ago, you can tell by my hair color, I've been around for a while. Um, Maybe 20 years ago, I remember Googling the terms geek and nerd. And I was just curious what the technical definitions were of those terms. Because, you know, in my field, I felt like I probably had to identify with one or the other of those, maybe both. And I remember at the time reading that geek was a term that applied to people who have just a lot of knowledge about a particular subject. And nerd basically kind of meant you were just not cool. So I decided way back in those days that I would identify with the term geek instead of nerd. And I don't think that that's a term you hear a whole lot anymore. You do hear nerd. And I remember about 6 months ago just reflecting back on that and thinking to myself, wow, you know, the very idea that I actually cared enough about that to go and Google those terms and decide which one I was going to identify pretty much makes me a nerd. So that's who is sharing all this information with you today. Um, so as a nerd, you're going to get a little bit of my nerd humor at various times throughout this. So here's what I think of as a hilarious technology joke. Hopefully everybody gets that. Um, Bad humor becomes even less funny when you explain it, so I won't take the time to do that. Okay, so a little background about me, other than what I told you already. So this is a photo of my little clan here. So this is my wife, Chris, and my three kids, Maddie, who's 24, and then Will and George, who were twins. They're both 21, about to turn 22. That was from a trip that we took to Disney summer before last at Epcot Center. In my spare time, I have hobbies. So I'm the lead singer in a band called Crooked Highway, and I like to play golf and do snowboarding. And those pictures make me look way cooler than I really am. Um, so just, you know, take those with a grain of salt. I do have 2 degrees, one from Grace College and one from Ball State University in organizational communication. So I did not start out in IT. So a little about my work history. I started out as a position in a company that sold and marketed natural gas to other companies. That company got bought by Enron, so they're not even in business anymore. And then I worked for Caspian Software for probably 9 years, and this is where I really gained a lot of the technology kind of knowledge and expertise that I ended up with. I ended up with 22 industry certifications in managing networks, and that company is actually no longer in existence either. It was a pretty small company. Then for 12 years, I actually had my own company called Netcare IT, where my company provided technology services and support to other small businesses. And that was a great experience because I got to talk to a lot of business owners and I got involved in lots and lots of different types of technologies. Um, Everywhere from the technologies that like a doctor's office or a lawyer's office would need and would use, all the way to I had a handyman and an asphalt factory as my customers. So as you can imagine, many different types of technologies I've had the opportunity to work with over the years. And then for the last 11 years, I've been with the Ross County Board of DD, also known down in those parts as Pioneer Center, as their IT director. So there's a close partnership between the Ross County Board and the Southern Ohio Council of Governments. We're actually headquartered in the same building. And I've also worked with SOCOG on their technology for those 11 years as well. Okay, you ready? Here's another one. Okay, so like I said, I want to at least spend a few minutes kind of covering the basics of supportive technology before we talk about the mobile smart home. So supportive technology is a term specifically used by the Ohio Department of Developmental Disabilities. People in other states and other parts of the country might use other terms, maybe just assistive technology or enabling technology or empowering technology. Ohio likes the term supportive technology. And this is a quote many of you may be familiar with already. That really helps. It's kind of the foundation for everything that Ohio does for folks. For most people, technology makes things easier. For people with disabilities, however, technology makes things possible. It may not be possible otherwise. Okay, so according to DODD, supportive technology is actually kind of made up of two different things. We'll walk through these real quickly. First is assistive technology. And I wrote down the term anything that helps a person with an intellectual or developmental disability with just their activities that they do in their daily life. It's easy to just think of assistive technology as being equipment, but it really is anything, okay? So, and I break this down sort of into three categories of things that could be considered assistive technology. So maybe it would be special adaptive devices made specifically for certain types of disabilities or certain situations. We're going to look at a couple of those in a minute. It might just include mainstream consumer devices that anybody would buy, but people with developmental disabilities might have very specific uses for those things. And they don't have to include anything electronic or anything powered by batteries. Many low-tech devices would be considered assistive technology. We're going to look at a couple of those too. So that's one half of supportive technology. The other half is remote support. So this is it's a personal service, I write here, delivered by trained support staff, usually over two-way audio or video. These days, really often it's over two-way video. So what we're talking about is a person in a remote location communicating with a person who's with a developmental disability who's living or at least staying in a home by themselves. Okay. This service also, or I should say, often involves equipment necessary for remote staff to make sure that that person who's in the home is safe while they're there. So things like cameras, sensors, security systems, door locks, thermostats, and more. That support person remotely will have access to these things, um, to be able to keep an eye on what's going on in the home, and like we said, to make sure the person who's there by themselves is safe. So I just wanted to walk through some examples of these things. So this was the first sort of category of assistive technology devices, specialized devices. They're built just for specific purposes. Here's one called an induction stove or cooktop. So if you've not heard of these, this is a special cooktop where you can put hands and magnetism between the surface of the cooktop and the pan. Make sure that the only place the stove gets hot is right beneath that pot or pan that's cooking on the stove. And you can touch the stove surface right next to the pot or pan, and it won't be hot to the touch. So that's a safety device for lots and lots of situations. Here's another one, a medication dispenser. We've got one of these in our mobile smart home that you'll see in a bit. So this could take many forms, but maybe it's a person who just needs help remembering when it's time to take medications. As you can see, there are little slots in this where pills can be organized with the right dosages and things like that too, if a person needs help with that. And it may or may not be accessible to open up like this for the person living in the home. Then we've got things like med alert devices. So, modern iterations of this are things like what you picture on your screen. These go all the way back to like a pendant from the old commercial, I've fallen and I can't get up, that you might use in elder care. Many of the folks in our community also would benefit from devices like this that can help detect whether there's a seizure happening. They can detect falls. Many of these, especially the ones that look like a watch here, that can be worn outside the home when persons in a community, actually have two-way talk capability, and they have built-in GPS, so that a remote support staff member would be able to know right where that person physically is and talk to them. Okay, so those are all special devices. So here's a list of consumer devices. So these are types of things, digital assistants that any of us might have. I'm going to guess, just because I've had talks like this in lots of groups of people, that probably over half of you have some sort of a digital assistant in your home already, made by Amazon or Google Home. And again, we just use them maybe because we don't feel like getting up and walking over to the light switch to turn off the light. Or it's easier to control a thermostat while you're away from home, or open or close your garage door, or those types of things. But for people with developmental disabilities, some of these really, really contribute to independence in their ability to stay by themselves or even live completely on their own. Here's some more of those: smart light bulbs or switches or outlets. And again, things any of us might have that would have special use for people with developmental disabilities. Doorbell cameras. I'm guessing many of you have this type of device in the front of your home. I have one, and I've got a couple more in different parts of my home that aren't connected to doorbells. Ring, of course, is one of the most popular ones. It's not pictured here. Ring's what I have at my house. Okay, and then we said some things considered assistive technology are actually completely low tech, or maybe even no tech at all. And in a way, this is sort of my favorite category of things, even though I'm the nerd that likes gadgets. Because we really can look in a lot of different areas. My wife happens to be an OT. She's been an OT for almost 35 years. And this is one thing that OTs tend to get involved with in the people that they treat. This is an example of one that my friend Tanner, who lives down in Ironton, uses in his sink. When I visited him, he showed this to me. You can see there's suction cups on the bottom of this. So it's just stuck to the bottom of the sink. And then he has CP and only has really good use of one hand. So he can spray dish soap onto the brush, run water on it, and then take a bowl or a knife or a fork and just run it over this stationary brush and wash dishes. Here's some more examples. Adaptive silverware. So on the left, you can see a commercially available type device for somebody that has difficulty grasping a fork or a spoon. Then the other two examples are sort of homemade adaptive silverware made by my friend Jen, who's pictured here in the middle. She doesn't have grasping capability, also has a CP diagnosis. And so just sort of designed these things from the things that were around her while she was out. And I've always thought that was really ingenious. And then we have things that we might never think of as assistive tech, but really are. Things like a grab bar or any kind of a handrail. All right, so those are assistive tech devices. And then we've got remote support. So like we said, this is support delivered remotely, usually over two-way video, sometimes audio. Okay. What's important about this is when we have remote support, right? The folks who are delivering the support to that person in the home, they are trained and have to be certified in all the same ways as a direct care person would be trained. Somebody who would be qualified to come into the home and help with activities of daily living. So they also have a copy of that person's ISP and they know all about them. And you know, when remote support is used, there are all kinds of detail that are built into that person's ISP that help the remote staff know exactly what to do in any situation that they would encounter while they're talking to the person in the home. So they could provide help with all kinds of things maybe you wouldn't even think about. You know, not only you know, some obvious things if you're having two-way video. Maybe you could just talk to the person about their day. You know, it's morning time and they're going to get ready and they need help picking out an outfit or something like that. You know, you could hold clothes up and person could deliver help on something like that. But even things like, I used to make a joke, you know, that the remote support staff can't do laundry for you, like direct care staff. But you could even have a handheld two-way video device that's taken around the home with you and could be taken into a laundry room. And they could actually train it on the knobs, on the washer and dryer, and maybe help support that person to do their own laundry. And then, as we said, you know, when remote support's delivered, you know, it's very common that certain types of smart devices and technologies are going to be used to make sure that person's safe. So you got examples here of a door lock on the left, thermostat, doorbell cameras, and motion sensors, things like that. And as we'll see, staff members who are delivering remote support have access to all of these things from their remote location. All right. I don't know if this applies to anybody but me, but even doing tech on a daily basis, this seems to be how USB devices work for me. Okay, on to the mobile smart home. So that's the kind of the heart of what we wanted to talk about. So back in 2018, the state of Ohio, and really, I think that I shouldn't say the state of Ohio. It was really a project started by the Nysonger Center at Ohio State. And they did this in conjunction with the Ohio DD Council, which is sort of a part of the ODD. But they had a grant, and the whole idea in the grant back in those days was just to get the word out all over the state about what remote support was. And they awarded $20,000 to 13 different grantees all over the state. And SOCOG was one of those. So I helped fill out the proposal for SOCOG, and you know, we got awarded one of these grants. Many of these grants were actually used to either create smart homes, stationary smart homes, or to demo smart equipment in, you know, maybe the office buildings of boards of DD in different counties everywhere. Our idea at SOCOG supports 15 counties in the southern part of the state of Ohio. So it depends on where you're from, and if you've visited down there, you may or may not know this. This is sort of the Appalachian area of Ohio, so it's very hilly. Some of the areas are very remote down there. And even in Chillicothe, where my office is, and where SOCOG is headquartered, that could be 2 hours away from certain of the counties that SOCOG supports. So the idea we had was, let's take a trailer and outfit it with remote support equipment and drive it to these remote counties rather than just building a smart home in Chillicothe and expecting people were going to drive as much as 2 hours to come visit us there. So we bought a finished toy hauler. You'll get to look at some pictures of it. And then THS Remote Support was gracious and generous enough to partner with us back then. And they put some of their remote support equipment into the trailer just so that people would be able to see examples of what it looked like and how it worked. And they could maybe imagine what it could look like in their own homes. So that's a picture of the mobile smart home there. And over 9 months, I put this thing on the back of a truck and I drove it around to various places in these 15 counties. It was a very busy time and it was a lot of fun. And you'll get to hear a couple stories about it. So the basic equipment that we started out with in the mobile smart home, first of all, was a security system. So you can get a look. This is one of the little panels that's right by our door. So this security system works and really looks a lot like a security system you might have in your own home. So you hit a button and you can arm it and turn it on. And as you can see, we would have a choice between whether we were staying, in other words, like it's bedtime, so we're going to remain in the home, or whether we were leaving, and we would hit the red arm away button. And this works just like regular security systems. So if the door were to be opened while it was on, or a window were to be broken when there were window sensors, this would go off. And but unlike a regular security system where police or emergency personnel would be called, instead, our remote support staff is immediately notified that there's been a breach in the security system. And they can immediately try to contact somebody in the home to find out whether there's something going on or whether it's just a false alarm. Those things happen sometimes. So in those cases, we save a 911 call if the remote support folks know that. Now, the security system also includes door sensors for other doors. So we've got a bathroom in the mobile smart home, and there's a door sensor on that door. That's a part of the security system. We have a motion sensor in the back of the trailer. And this is one of the things that I love that we have it, because it gives me an opportunity to discuss that. In the early days of remote support, back when it was called remote monitoring, one of the main ways that we kept track of what was happening in a home was video cameras, just in rooms all over the home. Well, that can be a little intrusive. And there are definitely areas in your home where you would never want a video camera, bedrooms, bathrooms, things like that. So a motion sensor is a really neat way to keep in touch with where a person might be physically in a home without having to have a video camera there. We also had this thing in the trailer called a bed shaker. So we have a little couch, and this is a sensor that's put beneath the couch cushion. And the practical use of this is a couple of things. Normally, it would be put under a mattress in a bed, and it would shake in two situations, potentially, depending on how it's set up at the beginning. One could be if we've got a person living in the home and they don't respond well to alarm clocks, and they have a hard time getting up out of bed in the morning. If their mattress starts to vibrate, sometimes that can help wake them up. And then the other situation might be if a person has hearing loss and things like smoke alarms, they wouldn't be able to hear effectively. This could help alert a person if a smoke alarm went off in the middle of the night and they needed to leave uh, their home immediately. So we also started out with a smart thermostat. And if you're familiar with these, the idea here is our remote folks will always know what temperature it is in the home. A lot of times their systems that are connected to these thermostats are going to be programmed kind of with thresholds on the high end. And let's just say if it gets below 60 degrees in the home or it gets above 85 degrees in the home, they're going to get an alert and they'll know to contact somebody in the home, make sure they're okay, and maybe to contact somebody to come out and repair um, the system. So we also have a smart door lock. Um, and in our it's just for demo purposes, it's actually on our restroom door. And you can see this is one of the screens that we started out with where you could see that the bathroom door was locked. So the key here is that not only can a person lock and unlock the door themselves, and these are meant for exterior doors, so you can use a key on them. There's a series of buttons where you can put in a code um, to get in and unlock the door and lock it. But you can also do it on one of the panels in the mobile smart home. Just touch it and it will lock and unlock. Again, the key being that our remote staff can always see whether this door is locked or unlocked, and they can lock it or unlock it for the person in the home should they need to do that. And I guess I didn't really say this a minute ago, but the same goes for our security system. Remote staff can arm the security system and disarm that for the person in the home if they would ever need that to be done. And then we do have a medication dispenser like the one that we described. So ours looks like this. And this can be programmed up to 4 times a day for a time of day when it's time for a person to take their meds. And it will beep in the loudest and most annoying way that you can imagine until somebody will lift the door. The little door at the bottom there can be raised up, and if you raise it up, you'll see the compartment that would have the medication in it. You can see this one actually has a key too, so this one's designed to be operated by a certified nurse who would come over, unlock it, fill it all up, and then lock it again. All right, so in case anyone's interested in some extra information outside of our presentation this morning, we do have a website at SOCOG's, a page at SOCOG's site that kind of tells some of the story that we told so far, and lists some of the actual locations and put some photos out there from some of those early trips. And then on YouTube, we actually have a playlist at SOCOG's YouTube site where I've put together 17 short informational videos. And I'll make sure that if any of the attendees here would like a copy of this PowerPoint, and the link will be right in there for you in case you want to go and look at those. We had fun with them. And they're usually, they're between 1 minute and 3 minutes long each. So each one is just about a particular piece of technology that's actually in the mobile smart home. So some adventures that we had along the way here, as you can imagine, we had a 9-month period in 2019 where our grant was actually active. And then that completed I think it was late, like maybe July of 2019. We had to wrap up all of those activities, but then we still had folks that wanted to see it throughout the rest of that year. 2020, of course, was COVID, so our mobile smart home sat parked for a couple of years while many of us all over the country were not doing a whole lot of in-person events. And then it's been pretty active since then, 2022 up to the present time. We've had it out and driven it around places as far away as um, uh, what's the city below Lima? You guys probably know if you're from that area. So up in that area, which was a long, long way away, almost 3 hours, we took 2 trips up to that area. We've been to Dayton, Cincinnati, all the way down to Portsmouth multiple times. In fact, we were just there for their Halloween and handed out candy to a lot of the little kids in the area. But along the way, we have had a few little interesting adventures 2 different times during that uh, 5 year period. We have had tires on the mobile smart home blow out. And in one of the cases, unfortunately, had to cancel an event that we were on the way to it, and the tire blew. Um, in the other case, we were actually close enough that I could, just drive a couple of blocks and be at the event. And unfortunately, the folks had to look at a blown tire before they walked in. Um, just this past summer, we had the mobile smart home at the Ross County Fair all week. And on the way to the fairgrounds, the truck that I was using, um, apparently the hitch wasn't attached correctly. I'm not sure who had been using it before that, but luckily I wasn't going any faster than about 10 or 15 miles an hour, and the whole hitch came off of the back of the truck, and the mobile smart home, you know, kind of hit the ground there as I tried to pull off of the on-ramp to the highway. And luckily I was able to get that back on there, and we've had to do a couple of repairs since then. And luckily, it wasn't serious enough that there was any damage to any of the equipment or things that were in it. And then a kind of a funny story. We have this little device that is called the firefighter. It was actually added later. And we'll get to see some of the added equipment that was put into the mobile smart home in a couple of minutes here. But we actually have a little, it's kind of a fake fireplace that sits below the TV in our mobile smart home. And it's electronic in that you can turn it on and it will look like a fire on a screen, sort of. But there's also a heater in it that you can turn on, so it can be used during cold weather to actually help provide a little heat inside the trailer. And I was working in there a couple Februarys ago, and it was pretty cold, so I had this heater on, and all of a sudden I heard this buzzing sound, and I looked over, and at the top of this little heater, there was a very thin wisp of smoke coming up out of it. So I immediately turned it off, but within about 10 seconds, the smoke detector inside the unit actually detected the smoke, and I heard the sound of it go off. And there's a little screen over by the door that I had described for people how this worked for years at this point. Since it's a smart setup, the whole idea is that this little piece of equipment listens for the smoke alarm to go off and then reports back to the remote support staff. So that the panel over where all the remote support software is installed started blinking red. It said smoke detected. I was like, well, it's good to know this thing that I've described for people all these years actually works the way that we told them it works. All right, so what we decided to do sort of during COVID was to add some additional equipment, make some updates to the mobile smart home. Technology in this unit is like technology anywhere. It goes out of date pretty fast and new things come along all the time. So One thing that we added was an Amazon Fire TV with a voice remote. Right, so that's a smart TV. It can play YouTube or Netflix or any of the channels that you see up there. And the voice remote capability I really like. I don't know about you, but one of my least favorite things about modern TV is searching for a program by the name of the program, using the little menu where you have to go one letter at a time, using the directional areas on your remote and spell it out. I'm terrible at that. And so the voice remote allows me to just say, Alexa, find remote support mobile smart home on YouTube. And it will take those terms, open YouTube, and then put the search terms in there for me as long as I speak clearly enough. And that's just so much faster. So that's a neat feature. We got a Ring doorbell for the mobile smart home. So that's right outside the front door. And it looks just like a Ring doorbell you probably have on your house. We also got an Echo Spot. Now I'll show you a picture of the Echo Spot here in a second. I say Echo Show 5 here too, because we had to replace the Echo Spot. It kind of got damaged. And the new device we have in there now is an Echo Show 5. Both of these devices have a small screen. So the original Spot that you're seeing here was sort of round, and that was one of the reasons why it got broken, because we were driving along and it sort of rolled off of this little counter and onto the floor and broke. So the Echo Show 5 that we have now is rectangular and it doesn't roll. Both of these have screens though, and this is where we would actually see the video from the Ring doorbell. So I can say to the device, computer, show me the front door, and it will go and open up the Ring doorbell camera and show me what's out there. Or if someone would walk up to the trailer and hit the doorbell, the same thing would happen even without me requesting it. The video would just show up so I could see who's at my door, and I can talk to them with two-way audio and decide whether I want to open the door. Smart window shades. So this was a real favorite of mine, because I can talk to these shades and raise or lower them. And it's smart enough to work with Alexa. So I can say, Alexa, raise shades, Alexa, lower shades. And we can work these into routines that we have. If you're not familiar with what a routine is, it's a group of actions that would all take place at the same time. So I was able to go in and program, for example, a good morning routine and a good night routine. So in the morning, my shades will come up, all my lights will turn on, my TV will turn on. Alexa will remind me to take my 8 a.m. medications and give me the weather report for the day, and then start a little nice breakfast music. And all that happens just with the command, Alexa, good morning. And good night, much the reverse. Lights go out, shades go down. So this was a neat addition a couple of years ago. We also have a little device that I haven't pictured. It's an Echo Glow. It is a light. So in that way, it's pretty simple, and most of us are pretty familiar with smart lights and how they work. This one, though, was originally designed for children's bedrooms. So not only can you tell Alexa to turn it on and off, you can tell Alexa to turn it different colors. You can tell Alexa, I mean, this is actually my favorite one. Alexa, set a lamp to campfire, and it'll sort of give you a little glow of yellow, orange, and red that looks a little bit like a campfire burning. It's neat. And then you can also touch it to change colors just with your finger. And then we had some additional updated tech that THS put in. They updated some of their panels. So it looks just like the actual equipment that they would have in people's homes. All right. And then the most recent addition that we have is probably my favorite little feature in the remote support mobile smart home, and that is Amazon Astro. And the Astro is a little robot on rollers. So I don't know if you can get a sense of this. It's probably 18 inches off the floor, and it just rolls around. It's very cute. It's probably named Astro after the dog in the Jetsons, if you're old enough to remember that. Or you get the Cartoon Network. Maybe you've heard of that. So Amazon came out with this robot a couple of years ago, and its purpose for Astro is that it's specifically designed to operate in a home. It's not designed to be taken different places. So much like a vacuum cleaner, a smart vacuum cleaner, iRobot and other makers have these smart vacuums. It will map the floor of your home. Since it's on wheels, it can really only operate on one floor. But it will create a map of the home with all the rooms in it. And then you can go in and label the map yourself and draw lines between rooms and label, bedroom, living room, kitchen, what have you. And its purpose in home security is that if you leave, you can actually just give it a command and say, Astro, I'm leaving. And it will sort of roll around while you're gone, monitoring different areas. You might tell it to listening for things like glass breaks. It would immediately notify you if it heard something like that. It's armed with camera and microphone and speakers. Now, I call it here the potential future of remote support. Now, I'm not aware of people in the state of Ohio quite yet using robots like this. This one was fairly expensive, about $1,600. So that would be a little much. But one of the neat features about Astro is that it can do facial recognition and voice recognition. So you can teach it who you are by speaking to it, and it'll recognize your voice. And the camera can take a look at your face and know who you are there. So if you think about the implications of that for remote support, if this device were less expensive, most technology does come down in price at some point. You could really imagine a use for something like this where, let's say I'm a remote support staff member and I'm trying to reach the person in the home for whatever reason, and I'm unable to reach them. I know that they're supposed to be home and not out somewhere, but I can't find them, and I'm worried maybe that something might have happened. So what I can do is actually tell Astro the name of that person, and Astro can just wheel around to all of the different rooms it can reach. And if it can see that person and recognize them by their face, it can report to me where they are and show me video of that person. So I'll know whether or not they've fallen or having a seizure, things like that. And that would be significantly quicker than my normal protocol in that situation, which would be if I'm unable to reach somebody, I call somebody on backup who probably has to get in a car and drive to that home. That might take 15, 20 minutes or more, where we would know potentially much quicker if we had our little robot. So we can also drive and operate Astro remotely. And I'm going to try here in just a second to give you an opportunity to see that. And we talked about what some of the remote support implications are. All right. So let's see if I can get this to work. I've got my Astro app open on my phone. And if it'll let me do this, I am going to try to connect my phone to my computer so that you can see. All right, hopefully you can see that. So this is what the Astro app looks like on my phone. And you can see part of the map there in the living room area, and the little blue disc is Astro. And so it's kind of hanging out in the middle of my living room. Okay, so if I were to go to settings over here and show you the map of the mobile smart home that Astro kind of mapped out at the beginning, hopefully you can see that. So it's such a small area. We've got a living room and a kitchen. And I can tell Astro to go to either one of those places. In fact, what I'll do here in live view, hopefully you'll be able to get a look at this. So I'll go to I'll go to viewpoints. You can see here are my two rooms, living room and kitchen. Viewpoints are different locations throughout the mobile smart home that I told Astro to remember. And here's one. So it's going to raise a camera up, and then hopefully you'll be able to see that's the inside of our mobile smart home right now. And Astro's looking from the back of the trailer up toward the kitchen area. Now I can actually operate it just by tapping the screen here. So you'll see it start to move here probably if my connectivity is good enough. Right. So the other thing I can do is send it to particular places. So I can say, send it back toward the kitchen. Hopefully you'll see it. Yeah, my connectivity is not great there. All right. And then I'm going to have it just go back to the charger here. By the way, things, doors or windows, and then people. This is what I was describing before. I can actually have Astro look for me, even though I'm not in this mobile smart home right now. So I'm going to send it back to the charger. And it will have to back up onto the little charger. All right. So I'm going to disconnect that so we can come back to our little slideshow. And let's just finish with one little nerdy joke here. All right. Hey, I appreciate everyone attending today. And again, thanks to Courtney and Chase for inviting me out. That's my email. If you guys get a copy of this presentation and want to contact me, either to maybe have the mobile smart home come and do a visit somewhere where you are, or to ask questions about it, I would be happy to do that. Thanks again. I guess I'll stay on for questions if we have any.
Thanks, George. That was great. I don't have any questions, Mandy. Do you? I guess one I have, George, is where's the farthest place that you've taken the mobile unit?
I think it was up near Findlay was the name of the town I was looking for earlier, and I couldn't remember. So that's about almost 3 hours from
Okay.
Chillicothe. So that was a good little distance.
What has the support and like the interest in it been good? Like, do people enjoy it? Like when you guys come out there and show yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. A lot of it has to do with what people expect. So one of the things I tell people who want to have it come out is you want to prepare people ahead of time that they're there to see remote support. Yeah, we do have some kind of cool smart home things that, people want to see that. But sometimes we'll have people who maybe don't know exactly what it is, and they'll think that we're demoing trailers that we would provide for people with developmental disabilities to live in, or things like that. But yeah, people are usually pretty interested, and they definitely love Astro. I have a little demo I do while they're standing there. I'll ask Astro to go and check whether the bathroom's door is open in the trailer. So it'll roll over and it will extend this periscope up about 3 feet. It'll take a 360-degree shot to make sure it can get a picture of the bathroom door. And then you'll see on the screen, it'll say looking for George. And it'll come and find me and give me the answer, to whether the bathroom door is open or closed. And so those are neat examples of
Yeah,
what that can do.
I really enjoyed Astra. I thought that was really cool.
Yep. And I dressed him up in a Halloween costume at Scioto County too. He was a cowboy. It was great.
Well, thank you, George. I appreciate it. And let me know if you need anything from me.
All righty. Thanks again. Enjoy the rest of your conference, everybody.
Thank you.
Mm,
Well, Courtney, it does not look like our next presenters
I
have
know.
joined us yet.
Not yet.
We're a little ahead of schedule. So what we can do is pause here. If
Yeah.
you're attending live, we're just going to pause and wait about 15 minutes until the next presenters join us. If you're viewing this on Zoom, we will edit out the pause when the video is revised. So we'll just hold here for a few minutes and wait for our next presenters. Well, Courtney, it doesn't look
I
like our
know.
last presenters are going to be joining us,
I
unfortunately.
know.
So do you want to wrap everything up?
Yep. Thank you for joining us. I'm sorry our last presenter did not show up. Reach out if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.